Welcome to Screen Fiend. We're going through some technical difficulties here. We're trying to get through it, so please bear with us and the things that they're doing. We're trying to figure it out, man. We're dealing with spammers. It's a full-time process show. That's a horror show for the rest of us that we got to deal with. It's nuts. Now, we're gonna get back to that topic. Don't worry about it. We're trying to fix it first before we try to get back to the topic. I might just make it a video at this point. So, because we never really got rolling, we got derailed before anything really took off. Just like here, we're being derailed before anything really takes off. Now, Pepper Potts was not originally going to be played Gwyneth Paltrow. To play the part. They offered the role to Rachel McAdams. She was Pepper Potts. She had the Iron Man script. They wanted her to play it, and she's just like, she's reading the script, and she thought it was kind of cheesy at that point, Marvel movies. And like clockwork, Jungles is calling me to talk about Mike Tyson returning back to the ring to fight. Secret Wars has already come out. Unless they're gonna change it, because Secret Wars ended up turning into the Civil War. Well, the thing that kind of hurt. I won't say the Age of Ultron sucked. It was just the worst out of the Avenger movies. They might do it. I mean, they might do it, but who knows? At this point, with Marvel, they're just happy they're completed with what they had now. Now they want to work with whole new actors because it's a lot cheaper. The more money they were making, the more they had to pay out to the actors. What's up, Christian Edward? The number one fan of this channel. Adams fell into the situation where most of the other actresses fall into. They eventually turn to Marvel because there's nothing really going on anywhere else. So before she accepted the role in Doctor Strange, he was not going to be somebody that was going to be in makeup, get up, flying around, shooting powers. So that was out of the question with her. She was like, no, I can't see myself doing that. And most of these people who come up from theater, they just don't see themselves going towards, that direction whatsoever. We're gonna go back into the Roy Jones video very soon. We weren't able to do it because of some streaming problem. Have you noticed we haven't had a streaming issue yet? Not one since I've been on this live stream with you guys. Not one. 7 minutes in, no issues. Nobody's been dropped off, nothing. So Pepper Potts was supposed to be played by Rachel McAdams. Gwyneth Paltrow at the time, she was going through all kind of marital problems and all this stuff with her husband and her kids, and she was all into this, retirement almost from Hollywood. So they weren't even really reaching out to Gwyneth Paltrow. Nobody even knew she would be interested in getting this role. But they felt like if we put Gwyneth Paltrow in this role, this could really be huge. And they only did that because Rachel McAdams read the script and turned it down. She just thought, like, this is a joke. I cannot appear in something Iron Man. Like, she doesn't know anything about it. When they gave her a script, they gave her a comic book. Like, here, the script and a comic book so you could like have a visual of the character. And they're like, oh, she's like, oh no. A comic book movie. And she's thinking back to like how cheesy the comic book movie thing was with Spider-Man's and all that. She doesn't want to do that. So she turns it down and it winds up being very lucrative for Gwyneth Paltrow. Well, even though she was barely in it, because she was still able to do the things that she wanted to do. Gwyneth was not going to spend a lot of time being in the movies. Well, of course, they did it. The same thing happened with Natalie Portman. But the thing is, they spoke out about it, but Rachel McAdams never spoke out about it. Where Natalie Portman thought, like, I don't see myself doing one of those type of movies. And now, then next thing you know, she's in Thor. So you got to look at how the things play out. So when she ended up in Doctor Strange, when they like Rachel McAdams, whoa, they got Rachel McAdams. She realized, like, look, there was nothing else out there. Plus, this is kind of her wheelhouse. She's playing a doctor, a scientist. She doesn't really have any powers. She's there as working with, Benedict Cumberbatch, who she has, a relationship, knowing him from theater and acting. He's a very serious actor. And this is a familiar format, even though the storyline is impressive. If you read the script of Doctor Strange, she chose the better script. Her character had much more meaningful bite than Pepper Potts has ever had. In her time that she spent in film, which really wasn't much, but in Doctor Strange 2, she could be used more frequently. I mean, but over the time, Pepper Potts' character become almost non-existent as in Iron Man 2, she ends up becoming dick partner by the end of it, you know, by the end of part 2, they end up dating and all this stuff. Then in part 3, it just goes from that to the extreme retarded, having her with the extremity thing, giving her more to do. And she felt like she was kind of just standing around in part 2 and wasn't really doing anything. Like a lot of her scenes were, a lot of it wasn't really a lot of interacting with Tony. It was about her being basically jealous of them trying to insert Scarlett Johansson into the picture, and Tony's flirting with her and all of these different things. So it was more on that note than anything else. So in the third one, she wanted to be more active and being able to do something, and she saves Tony for a change instead of him saving her. And she has this extremity power, or whatever. She's fighting and punching robots. Then in Infinity War, they had them digitally enhance her butt in the movie to give it more of a round shape when she was in her bodysuit. For whatever reason, I have no idea why she wanted them to digitally enhance her butt in the movie when her and Tony was running in the park. But there's two versions of this. Like somewhere there's a deleted scene, and people are like, "What happened to her butt? It's gone." Oh man! And then like on the Infinity War, they was like, "Man, she had." I was saying like, "Man, Gwen got something back there." I ain't know that. And I was watching Infinity War. I'm like, I've never noticed this ever in life. Then I look at the deleted scenes, and it's like book bag, but no one liked Iron Man 2. The director, the actors, and the fans, they agree with you. John Favreau was out of the Iron Man business. He left his baby. He said, I'll be happy and act in part 3 and produce it. But you get somebody else to deal with the direction because I'm not dealing with these people no more. And that's how he did it. Favreau basically got himself out of the MCU, but stayed as a producer. But he didn't get to direct any more Marvel movies. He didn't want to do it after Iron Man 2. You know how much millions of dollars he turned down just for that to happen? It was that much of a headache dealing with the studios of Disney and Marvel, screwing up his movie. Well, the Thor: The Dark World by far is the worst Marvel movie out of the whole Marvel universe. Thor: The Dark World is the worst. Then is Iron Man 2. So Marvel track record on sequels are not very good. If they normally make a sequel to a movie, it normally turns out pretty bad. The shock and awe is that Captain America got better. 3 movies in a row. Iron Man 3 just happened to be better than 2. That's just it. Iron Man 3 was not a very good movie. You just didn't know it wasn't. That's just the thing. You just didn't know it wasn't. It was more slapstick comedy in Iron Man 3. It was more of a joke how they ended the film. And it was like 2 different movies taking place at the same time. The script was changed completely. So when that all happened, it all went to hell. And then the little kid from Insidious, he was the hot thing at the time, and putting him with Tony, it only made sense at the time because that little kid that everybody loved who was in all the movies, that little kid was going to be the next Tony Stark. They had a chemistry, and the best part about it is when Tony had to go in there and rescue Pepper and all of these different things, and he had to create in order to do it. He didn't have his Iron Man suit. He had to go to the regular store and create something. That took us back to the first Iron Man when he was in the cave and he built something. We actually get to see Tony work on building something without the tech, without all the superstar tech stuff that makes it real easy for him to be Tony Stark. I'm trying to get things back on a even kill. So we'll see how that plays out. But right now, that's where everything seems to be right now. So Pepper Potts was going to be played by Rachel McAdams. It ended up going to Gwyneth after Rachel McAdams turned it down. She thought it was just silly. Then she ends up turning around and doing Doctor Strange. Plus, at that time, Marvel had became a hit. Natalie Portman did the same thing. I heard she turned down that role, and she also turned down, I believe, another position before she ends up agreeing to do Thor: The Dark World because her movies were bombing. Nobody was going to see that romantic stuff, and they're like, "Look, this is a big check. Get your money right now and get into this superhero thing. It's paying out. They're doing $1 billion in sales, so you might want to get into this." So her manager got her into a deal to do the Thor movie. Thor movie was starting its own thing. For some reason, I don't know why she didn't understand that it was a sequel based movie. And after the first movie, she didn't want to do the second one. So when Thor: The Dark World came around, she was pissing a bitch because she tried to get out of the contract and she didn't want to do it. She wanted to go back to her artsy fartsy world. And they were like, no, 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 no. You got to do this. No two NF ways about it. You got to do it. It's in your contract. She she pissed the bitch, and she still ended up having to do it when it was all said and done. When it was all said and done, she ended up having to do it anyway. Yeah, Annihilation wasn't bad. It wasn't outstanding either, but she wasn't bad in the movie. So they end up telling her she had to do it. So she came in there and just gave the most. And I can tell why she didn't want to do it. The script is terrible. What your character doing makes no sense. And to get her to come back to the Thor world made it very interesting. So hold on. Hello? Hey. Yeah, I'm doing on the screen thing, doing movies. Hmm. Are you serious? Okay, I have to look at it. I'll when I'm finished here because I'm about to be done. I'll call you back in like five. Give me about 5, 10 minutes. All right. So now they gave her a more meatier role. Like, and I guess she likes the direction now. Thor got new directors that's handling it, and now she likes the direction. And Liam Hemsworth was the same way after Thor 2. He's like, look, I gotta change this up. I can't do this character this way anymore. He's so bland, he's so just stoic. Let me do something with the character. And they allowed him to actually change Thor. So when you see Thor Ragnarok, that's the Liam Hemsworth version of Thor that everyone seems to like. They're like, all right, Thor has a personality now. Now, I do know some comic book fans that hate Thor Ragnarok because of that. That's not how Thor acts. They got him like a buffoon. So, no, Thor was, but see, when you got what's his name, Waikiki, when the way he directs a film and the way he goes and approach it, it's okay for you to use that as a muse or platform or a directional way to attack something. If you use Thor in a way of humor and it goes and blends in well with the story, making him a character that's not so one dimensionally bland into thou shalt not I will honor thy father and conquer the universe and drink beer. He's got to be something more. He's got to like have some comedy to him, and a personality, and it worked. You know, as for Captain America, they loosened his character up because the Russos knew for Cap to be effective, Cap has to stay on mission. He's got to. It's always got to mean something. The story, the person, Bucky. Bucky meant something. Plus, you felt bad for Cap. Cap was different. You really felt bad for him. This guy lost his entire life, getting stuck in the ice. He's get thawed out. He's in a whole new world. Everybody he's known is long gone. And for him to come back and spend all his days and time, go back and spend those years, it was quite interesting. Well, Disney Plus has got to get with it, man. It's like I understand the COVID thing slowed things down, but we should have had the WandaVision show. We should have had Falcon, and the movie that's going to set that up is the Black Widow movie. That's going to set up the Falcon and what's his name with Bucky, the Winter Soldier. Right, definitely. So we definitely got to check some things out. But it was cool to sit here and talk movies with y'all for about a good half hour. Then I'm gonna go over there. We're gonna continue the Mike Tyson thing. See, now that this live stream is working here, we're gonna go back over there and see why the hell it isn't working. They're gonna have to explain that. Well, that's gonna be on Casino for Life, of course. The boxing. So I'm out.